you go.
Lovely. Recording is in progress. Lovely. Good. Right, Neil, you're being recorded.
That's good to know. Thank you, Tom. Right, it's over to me then, Tom.
It is, yeah.
Okay, I'll share my screen. Let me know when you can see it.
It's coming, yeah.
It's slowly coming through. First of all, thank you to West Sussex Partner and Care for allowing me to present today. Really appreciate that. My name's Neil Newman and I'm from Umbrella Insight. We started in the world of feedback, but the solution has dramatically evolved to be a lot more than just feedback, as I'm about to show you. And one of the things that we saw the solution could do is help with recruitment and retention of staff, and that will become self-evident as I go through this. What I will do is I won't spend a lot of time on these slides, but I'll zip really to the demo so you can actually see the solution in action and therefore ask questions about it. So the reason I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this is because you probably know all these stats, and of course I'm giving a copy of these slides to West Sussex Partners and Care so they can supply them to you if you need them. But these are just some of the underlying reasons as to the challenges we're facing in recruitment and retention. Now, one of the things that isn't so well known about is actually whilst paid well is obviously high up the list, there's a lot of things you can do that don't actually involve money. And by engaging with your staff, which is where we try to help, that's where you can win real retention with your staff. As I say, I've only got 6 slides, so don't worry, it's not a PowerPoint, death by PowerPoint. Big point here is to focus on that bottom left red text. What we're trying to prevent is by better engagement, by more regular engagement with staff, reducing the long-term sick, reducing the high attrition rates. Because it's all very well, and I know this happens, we ask how people are in the corridors with the coffee machine. We might even do it formally in a meeting, but not everybody's honest about their feelings on everything that you ask them. And more often than not, if you put them on the spot, you might just say, yeah, everything's fine and move on. What we're trying to give you, in addition to those conversations, not instead of, but in addition, is a way to easily and quickly and conveniently converse with your staff to ensure everything's on track and know when it's not. So you can prevent those texts in the red from happening. So that's sort of the theory behind it all. And Tom will hopefully underpin some of this. Just some looks and feels of how it can look. It's completely customizable. It looks like an app, as you can see there, but it's not an app. So there's no software, there's no hardware, there's no integration, there's nothing for you to deploy. It's really effortless. And then on the right-hand side, you can see other areas down here where we can also help your care organisation. Again, I'm not going to focus too much on this. I will mention, which is why it's in green, and I've got a quick example that we do help with learning difficulties, learning disabilities and independence. I can show you how that looks if that's of interest to you. Get to the nitty gritty. How much is it? It's £1 a month per employee. So £12 a year per employee to ensure that they are engaged with you, they are happy in their position in your workforce. And you've got obviously the other side of this. If you can choose anonymity or you can choose to have employees' details. So it's up to you how you want to run the system. But if you choose the employees' details, then you've also got audit trails of what's going on. You've also got a voice for your employees who are less confident about speaking up, who are less confident to walk through your open door policy. This gives them another avenue to actually flag something. So it's so yeah, it just gives them that additional avenue that they can seek out because it's available 24/7. Working with Tom and other care organisations, typically they would run this once a month. It doesn't have to be run once a month. It could be once a quarter. It's entirely up to you. But if you do it once a month, then you've got that engagement. Now, what I'll do is I'll jump to the demo and you'll see what we mean about the efficiency and the ease of use. Now, hopefully, because I should have shared all my screen, you can see that. Could somebody confirm who's not on mute? You can't see that.
No, just seeing your cost PowerPoint screen at the moment.
Thank you for saying, because I will now. I tried to do share screen all, but it obviously didn't work. Let me just come into here. Right, you should see this then.
Looks like it's coming. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Tom. So this is just some examples. Again, everything you see is customizable. What we try to do is reduce ordered word count down, make it easy, accessible, and simple to use. Because if you can do that, then people are going to adopt it. They're going to use it, going to engage with it. Everybody's short of time. They don't want to spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes filling things in. We want to be spending seconds. So this is an example of an employee who could give feedback. So let's just run through this really quickly. Yeah, I'm very happy overall. Yeah, I find my work rewarding. Yeah, the communications are good in the office. I'm supported in my role. Yeah, my team is wonderful. Management's fantastic. Yeah, and I love my role and I feel great in my well-being, or anything in between. Again, they can put the name in or choose not to, anonymity, and they can add further details if they want to. Now, what I'll do is give you a second example of that, how it might look differently. So in this particular example, we can actually select a manager's name and we can select a location. So we can do locations and, as you see, break between domiciliary and care. It's the same sort of thing. We've used different color icons this time. Again, everything customizable. But again, when we go through it, you can see it just leads you through, and you can see I'm doing this in probably 30, 40 seconds. Now, you could get to support and go, actually, I'm disappointed. Now, you'll see this in the monthly reports that we sent through to your dash, that you'll get a full report. We'll show you that in a minute. The other thing you'll note, we do personalized URLs, and they pre-fill in the names. So your employees do not have to fill this in. It comes filled in. So when you get your report, you know Neil Newman's not happy about supported. So this starts the conversation. We're not trying to say this replaces your conversation. It's just an early warning to say, actually, we've got a person and we know that the employer's name is Neil Newman and they've got an issue. Let's go talk to them and see what that issue is about so we can address it early, so that issue does not become a problem like long-term sick or resignation. You'll also note with conditional logic, we've also prompted them for some more information. So here they can actually give explanation if they want to, but again, if they don't, doesn't matter. You've got early warning, and that's the point. Finish that one. So the other side of this also is we can use it to actually assess employees. So that one's for employees to give feedback, so you can just openly ask your employees. But this is more like assessments, especially when you've got new starters or that situation. So how's the employee overall? Yeah, that I'm happy with them. Timekeeping, yeah, that's good. Good communication, yeah. They're polite, good. They're good team member. Great equality. Motivation could be improved. Yeah, okay, and resourceful. So, and then you can put in your manager's name and the candidate's name, and then we suggest on a new hire situation, you run this once a week, and then what you have here now is an evidence trail of the conversations you're having with that new hire, and evidence that actually, yes, we flagged 4 weeks ago that you've got a problem with your motivation. What is it, so we can work that out? So at the end of the probation, you know whether or not that's the right candidate for your business. Now, taking that a step further, you can actually do a 360 on the staff. So this one is, how is the new employee overall? And it's going out to the colleagues, so the colleagues can talk about the new hire. There's no point in hiring somebody into your business and 3 people leave your business, because actually, when it comes to equality, they're quite racist, or there's other discretions they have within their character which offend other people. So as a manager, you might not know that. It might be hidden from you because you're too busy in your day job. But as your colleagues who work around you, they will have daily interaction with them and know whether or not there's an issue. And if it's green lights across the board, all good. You've got confirmation. Am I okay for time, Hayley? Good, thumbs up. That's great. So another couple of examples and some reports. So don't be fooled, as I said earlier, it's fully customizable, so we can change the look and feel of it for your organization. Again, different types of emoticons. But you can see in this particular one, we're using safety and training and progression in your workforce. The point we're trying to make here is we're doing it in seconds. We're not spending 15 minutes, half an hour a month. We're spending seconds to get the same sort of quality of information you'd get normally with a typical 30-minute survey that happens traditionally. And I mean, of course, we can NA any question just to explain there. So NA, not applicable. So you can ask questions and they can skip that. The employee can skip the question if you give them the option. So again, fully customizable. Another one we can use it for is, and this is something my colleague Louise is very good at, is our well-being. So we can actually do assessments, and it doesn't have to be in this sort of remit. It can just be open, as we showed you before. But in this particular one, this is another one we did for another organization. And you can get an assessment of how people are feeling with their 5 levels of well-being. Now, this could be particularly useful for those in domiciliary care that are getting just the occasional care once or twice a week, where you want to make sure that they're happy with their well-being and their support. So it's completely universal, whether you use this with your staff or with your care recipients. And we can go into more detail. I haven't shown you that before, which is why I wanted to show you here. So we can ask as many questions or as few questions as you like. Again, all fully customizable. Now I'll jump quickly to the reports just to give you an illustration. So what we do automatically, nothing for you to do, is we send you a report every month, which will give you, so just to explain the emoticons, and the reason we use emoticons is because people engage far easier with their emotions than they do trying to assess whether something's a 3 or a 4 or a 6 or a 7. It just makes them stumble about how to respond. Whereas if I'm happy with my service, I'll put a happy face. If I'm very happy with my service, or I'm very happy with my progression in my workplace, I'll put a very happy face. So it really is quite basic but effective. And what we do, those scores from unhappy is 1, 5 is very unhappy, about 5 is very happy. We then start to see a breakdown in stats against all the areas that you're measuring. And then what we can also do, if we're not choosing the anonymity option, we're choosing the employee option, is we can actually start to see that breakdown by individual. And again, we can track and trend and evidence this to the CQC that you've got the interest of your staff is front and foremost for you. But it's also doing you a turn, because you're getting early sight of, again, of any potential problems. So those are the 2 stars of report. And what we also do, in addition to what we've seen here statistically, is we also give you a business health index, as you can see here over the year. And all of this is fully automated. You don't have to do anything. And this enables you to see your trends. And this number is combinated of the average of all the areas that you're measuring. And typically we see organizations in somewhere between 5 and 4, and you'll see it fluctuate 4.1, 4.3, etc. If you see it drop down to 2.6 or lower, that flags you to say what's going on that month, what happened. And you can drill into the data and go, actually, we've got 3 employees, if you haven't seen it beforehand, we've got 3 employees that are really unhappy with X, Y, Z, and you'll know what that is. Again, if you use the anonymity avenue, we can still do it by department, so you can see whether departments are unhappy as opposed to individuals. So they keep their anonymity, but you can see trends within the data. So there's an awful lot of information you can pick up, but without any effort, and that's the point. There's nothing to deploy, there's nothing to manage or anything, you're just given the information. I think I'm about coming up to time. So I will ask if there's any questions on all this, because I know it's a bit of a whistle-stop tour, really.
Does anybody want to speak up with any questions? Feel free to unmute if you do.
Yes, please do. Raise your hands.
Neil, do you mind if I say something?
I don't mind.
Just really quickly.
Yes,
so we're obviously using it, and I support absolutely everything you've said. One thing you missed from your presentation, which is actually one of the key things for us, or I think you missed it, sorry if I missed it, is the wellness alerts. So if someone scores below a 2 or 2 or below, it's emailed straight to us.
Yes.
So we can deal with that like straight away and offer support to the employee, you know, almost immediately, which is really useful.
Thank you, Sophie. That wasn't a plug, but
No, it wasn't planned.
yes. Sorry, there's an awful lot in the platform to give you information on, but I really appreciate your lead there. Yeah. So we're an individual, and it's up to you, the business, how you want to configure this. But as Sophie said, we can alert you instantly via email as soon as somebody's submitted something, if you want to be informed that there's a problem. And of course, if that's at an individual level, at not anonymous level, you can then go and see that person and work it out that same day, that same hour even. So to have that sort of attention on your employees, you know, that your employees are going to appreciate that. And that all helps with retention and it builds loyalty. And it's lovely to be known that you're being listened to. Tom?
Yeah, and I'm actually, I think I will call it a plug, because I am going to plug it, and I will qualify it by saying that we've been helping Neil develop the finer details of the software, well, not software, but anyway, the outcome of it, and so we've been using it for a while now. But other than that, I have no financial interest in people signing up or not. Is the point I want to make. But yeah. I would say, you know, a lot of what we're talking about today is recruitment, but we all recognise that retention is equally as important or more important than recruitment. And I see this myself as a really, you know, it's one tool in the retention armory, but I think it's a really useful one, and certainly we have been using it for a few months. It does take a minute to complete. An email goes out to the staff, which they can open on their phones, and then it literally takes a minute. If they want to add comments, they can, but they don't have to. And they can also use a QR code just to open up the app or open up the website. And leave feedback at any time, which is again where Sophie's point about the immediate response comes from. And I also think it's got value in terms of if somebody says, you know, resigns and says, you know, I've been complaining about this for months and nobody's done anything. This is somewhere where we can say, well, hang on a minute, you know, you've had all these opportunities to flag it through the umbrella insight, and you've not flagged it at all. You may have mentioned it to a couple of colleagues in passing in corridors, but you haven't really flagged it properly. And this gives every opportunity to flag. And if things are flagged, it's gives every opportunity to raise an issue, and then this flags it to us if it is a concern. So yeah, we're very happy with it anyway. So that's my plug over, and it's definitely time up. Unless you want to say anything, one last quick thing, Neil.
I just want to say thank you, Tom and Sophie, for your support while we sort of brought this to fruition. It's through your help that we think we brought something to the industry that's really going to help. And of course, it is industry agnostic as well. So it's available for any business, but you know, we are working specifically in the care industry.
Brilliant. Thanks, Neil.
Well, thank you for allowing me to show you today. Thank you.
And now we are handing over to Taz from Proud to Care. Are you there, Taz?
I am, yes.
Brilliant, fantastic.
Sorry, terrible as it is, I'm not used to Zoom. I should know this off by heart by now, but I've been Microsoft Teams the last few years, so you may have to bear with me.
Yeah, they're kind of the same but different, aren't they? Are you showing your slides, or am I showing your slides?
Would you mind showing them? Is that
happy
okay?
To. Yeah, happy to. Yeah, absolutely. So I hope that most people here know you, but Taz Oliver from the Proud to Care team, giving us more help with the ever valuable recruitment. So over to you, Taz, and I will start sharing.
Thank you. Yes, hopefully most of you have heard of me, but today I just wanted to go through who we are, what we do, and all the different areas we're working on at the moment. And I get to do my very best Chris Whitty impression. So could I have the next slide, please? Thank you.
I am clicking, bear with me.
Lovely. So who are Proud to Care? So Proud to Care is a small, hard-working team, and we've been set up by West Sussex County Council to support with recruitment and retention across the adult sector. We've been running for just over 4 years now, and we've had the Proud to Care brand for 3 years. So the team have a range of knowledge and experience in areas such as recruitment, sales, marketing, communications, human resources, supporting job seekers, and customer service. So these are the skills that we use to help providers across West Sussex with their recruitment and retention. Next slide, please. So these are the 4 main ways that we support recruitment and retention. So we've got the Proud to Care website, we've got our matching service, we have campaigns, and we have employer support. So I'm just going to run through each of these now, just to give you a little bit more information on each. Next slide, thank you. So our website is a dedicated resource for potential candidates to search and apply for jobs, find out what it's like to work in care, read about others' experience in care, and a lot more. The main pages are our job boards, so any provider in West Sussex can post excuse me, their job adverts free of charge. And this is where candidates can directly apply or get in touch with us regarding our matching service. We've got Who Cares, so this is a range of case studies of people working in care, and these people come from all different backgrounds and they're doing all different roles within the care sector. We've got Careers in Care, so this has got information on the different types of roles, different types of settings, and FAQs about working in care. And then lastly, we've got our Employers Hub. So this is for providers where they can upload their job adverts. And we've also got a range of resources you can use, such as our recruitment guide, retention guide, and information on other ways we can support. And next slide. So this week's actually a very busy week for us. We're actually updating the Proud to Care website. So many of you who post adverts on there already will have had emails from myself or Nathan or Danielle going, oh, do you want to re-upload your ads? Or if you need to edit it or change it, you have to get in touch with us by email. That's all changing. So you will be able to not only upload your job vacancies, view and delete what adverts you've got on there, repost your adverts that have expired, edit or make any changes, and mark any jobs as filled. So that's going to make things a lot easier for you guys to have more control over your job adverts. Next slide. So campaigns. So throughout the year, we run a series of campaigns targeted at potential candidates and directing them to the Proud to Care website and to the job board. So we use a huge range of advertising to promote the website to candidates, such as YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, to get as many people to the website who hopefully in turn will then apply for the jobs. We also arrange local recruitment events as well. So these take place in the community and are designed to attract potential candidates. So we basically host a job fair. So we'll hire a venue, we'll make all the arrangements, and then providers can just turn up on the day and we'll get candidates to come in that will potentially be interested in working in care. Those have been on hold because of COVID, but we are very hopeful we're going to start those again in the summer, which we're really looking forward to. And next slide, please. So our matching service. So through the Proud to Care website, we offer a matching service for candidates. So we speak to candidates either by email or telephone and ask them a set of questions so we can determine what type of job they're looking for. So this is almost like a pre-screening process. So once we've established what it is they're looking for, we can then match them with providers based on their jobs on the Proud to Care website, and then we get them in touch with each other. So it's like an introduction. This has proven really successful because it helps us pre-screen the candidates for you. So you're not getting a lot of time wasters or people that aren't engaging, because we've already had that conversation with them before they get introduced to you. And next slide, please. So employer support. So we offer bespoke one-to-one support to any West Sussex care provider who might benefit with support with recruitment and retention. So what we do, we book in a time to meet with you by Microsoft Teams or a phone call if that's easier, before we do a little bit of research. So we have a look at what you're doing at the moment, what's your online presence like, what your job adverts like, and then that helps inform us what suggestions or recommendations we would make. So some of the things we do as part of this is support on advertising advertising and advising on job adverts, rewriting job adverts for you, maximising how you use social media, reviewing and adding to your bank of interview questions, advising on local advertising, because we work all over West Sussex, so we know what we've seen work in different areas based on our own experience. And then we have the guides on recruitment, retention and value-based recruitment as well. And next slide, please. And then there's everything else. So there's a lot of things that I haven't added because I don't want to take up too much of your time, but some of the other key areas we do. So we do a lot of work with job centres, so educating work coaches and promoting jobs in care, attending job fairs, supporting work-based academies. We actually did a presentation called Consider Care, which is aimed at people that have never thought about working in care. And it just really sells the features, advantages and benefits of a job in care to help gauge that interest and hopefully get them to look at jobs moving forward. We do a lot of work with local organisations, schools, colleges, universities. Recently, we've been supporting a lot of local authorities across the country who are looking to replicate Proud to Care for their location. And we create guides on recruitment, retention and candidates. Next slide, please.
Oops.
So that's pretty much sums up everything we do. Our website's got a wealth of information. I will say it is under construction at the moment, so some pages may look a bit different to others, but it's just why we upload. But if you want to sign up to upload your job adverts, you can go onto the Employers Hub and click sign up. And if there's any other information you'd like, or you'd like the one-to-one support, you can give us an email and we'll arrange a time. And that is it. Thank you. Anyone
Brilliant.
have any questions?
Thank you, Taz. Perhaps if you maybe give it a moment then and share your screen just in case anybody wants to take down the, or perhaps Taz, if you could put the contact details in the chat section, then people can always copy and paste them from there. So if you stop sharing for the moment, and oh, it's me, isn't it, sharing?
Yeah.
Forgetting that little detail. So thank you. Anybody want to ask any particular questions to Taz?
Taz, can I just say a huge thank you to you and your team. So you helped us last summer with recruitment. We actually employed an amazing care assistant. He's one of those care assistants you just wish you could clone. And he actually
You're never letting them go.
He actually won the Care Worker Award in the WSPiC Accolades this year. So huge thanks to you and the team for passing him our way.
And I would also add your employer support generally is is fantastic as well. I think you gave us lots of useful advice. So again, I would thoroughly recommend that. And Rosemary's got a hand up.
I just wanted to say thank you, because I didn't realise the service that you provided and that you actually wrote the adverts for us. So I was really impressed, not impressed, that's not a good word, but you know, it was really good.
I'll take impressed. I'll take
impressed. I was really impressed. And you took the information from the website, and because my wording was just very generic. So yeah, that was really good. Thank you.
And my final point is actually we're probably all trying to compete for the same employees. So actually nobody contact us because we want to recruit everybody.
Yeah,
don't want the competition.
That's it. Just keep it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. It's a really, I mean, I love the job, but I think it's something, because I've worked in the care sector in various facets before, but I've also got the recruitment, sales, HR side of it. So it's really nice being able to share those skills, because I know for you guys, you know, you're running a care setting and you've got those priorities, which is completely right. So anything we can do to help in areas that maybe you're not as confident in, we're more than happy to. So yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Brilliant, thank you, Taz. And our next speaker probably also requires a little in the way of introduction. It's good old John from West Sussex County Council. Are you there, John?
Yeah, morning all. How are you doing? Just
Very
a
good,
bit of a
thanks.
heads up. I'm struggling with. I'm currently hotspotting off my work phone as my internet's decided it doesn't want to play today.
Okay.
So yeah, just a brief, real. I'll keep it really, really brief. We've got our next provider briefing coming up on in May. I'm loving these. It's really, really good just to keep connected with everybody. It's really exciting. We are focusing. We have got Sarah along from the Prince's Trust, and to just reiterate and share the stuff that she's got going on as well. It was the bits that I saw in the presentation while I was threatening to throw my iPad out the window were brilliant and really insightful. So I'm looking forward to seeing that in its entirety. And just generally keep things up. We know the guidance has changed again. We know there's lots of change still going on in the sector, and we really want to be able to support you with that, however that may look. And just a plea to everybody, really, if there's anything that you guys need, please drop us an email. We're there to work as a one-to-one with you guys, individually as services, or doing some more wider sort of knowledge sharing as with the adult social care briefings. We've had a bit of a reframe on the adult social care briefings in terms of trying to do some additional, breaking them down from fortnightly to monthly, just to give you guys a bit of time back. But we're really keen to share and to learn from that experience as well. We think the briefings have been a really good way of getting to everybody and to share the ever-changing guidance that comes out, and as and when that changes again, we will hold another briefing, and we'll make sure that people are aware of those changes and try and dissect it and break it down to make it as bite-sized and as easy as we possibly can. But if anybody's got any questions and needs any support, then please just get in touch. I'll keep it like that and that's short for today if I can. Tim, is there anything, if there's anything specific that anybody would like to ask or anything, then
Can I just quickly ask, I got you on the agenda as talking about the out of hours support. So I'm perhaps putting you on the spot from that point of view, but it's a question that is often asked, is when things go wrong out of office hours, who can we call in terms of county council support for example, you know, where people have got an outbreak and staffing issues, and they just can't meet the needs of the service.
Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely one of the things that we're looking at quite a lot at the moment, and we do have an out of hours care line. I'll put the number in the chat, but I'm basically one of the big issues that we have, as everybody knows, is outbreaks on a Friday afternoon, and that does pose its challenges trying to get cover over the weekend. We've had a situation recently where we had on-call workers going out and supporting domiciliary care in a bit of a desperate situation where they had a bit of an outbreak of COVID amongst the staff team, and just to try and reduce the chance of people handing back hours of support hours and declining the opportunity to support the people. It was very much a case of we just went all hands on deck. We do ask everybody to have their business continuity plan, and that should have those contacts that people can make in event of an emergency, of shortness of staff, and thinking really creatively. I know Taz touched on the stuff that Proud to Care do, and that feedback, that retention stuff we know is a big issue at the moment, and that was a really, really helpful presentation as well. But when it comes to the crunch, just get in touch with us. If you do get in touch with us as soon as we can, preferably before the Friday afternoon. So the moment you start thinking that there might be an issue about continuity of business over the weekend or at those out of hours things, we do have that care point out of hours. There's actually I'm spending my day on Bank Holiday Monday on duty for the adult social care out of hours service as the manager, so please don't call then. But I mean, I do, if you've got any issues, please do give us a ring on that number. I'll put that number into the chat, and it's just as early. We can help you better if we're told as early as possible.
I think, John, the that's a valid point, that flag before it becomes a complete disaster. The trouble is, I suspect for most providers, every weekend is sailing close to the wind, and it just needs a fairly small change in the wind to go from on the edge to over the edge, really. So we'd all ring you every Friday morning if we were letting you know that we had a bit of a wobbly weekend coming up.
Yeah, and it really is those factors that when the business continuity plan is no longer sufficient, it's all about when that business continuity is exhausted. You should always have that emergency response. You should always have that expectation that as managers, as providers, there may be the slimmest chance that you might need to get there and get your hands dirty and go into the service. It's about if all the contingencies that you guys put in place then fail.
Yeah,
that's when we'd like to hear, so that we can support as best we can. The support we can offer is very, very limited, and we'd be following the same lines as you were. I know at one point the other week we had the director of adult social services was going out providing hands-on care because of the situation for this specific service that was a particular challenge, and
yeah, okay, well,
it's difficult to get that challenge across and to remedy that, but we are there to support. We are there to look at both strategically and operationally how we can help. So
brilliant, and I appreciate that you've not got a sort of army of carers sitting on standby waiting to jump in and rescue everybody when they're having a
sorry, Tim, I don't
crisis.
know if you can hear me, but I've lost you completely.
Yeah, I can hear you. Oh no, I think we might have lost you now, John. Right, well, thank you, John, and hopefully that number's in the chat. I've not been looking at the chat at the moment. Now, Hayley, it's time for the breakout rooms.